Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Witty Writers Show. It is a beautiful sunny Thursday where I am, and I'm here with the absolutely amazing Judy Prescott Marshall. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Beth. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited.
Oh my gosh, that makes two of us. It really, really does, Judy. I've been so excited to chat to you because you really do seem like my kind of lady. You're so inspirational and kind and ooze positivity. You're a bit of me, I have to say, Judy.
Okay, good. This is a good thing. Yes.
It is. I can already see people joining, which is absolutely fantastic. Hello, everybody. Please pop up your hellos so Judy can see them. We'll put your greetings on the screen. And if anyone does have any questions, please pop them in the comments, and I will put them up also. Now, Judy, this year has been quite a celebration for you because you've just released your second book, which is absolutely amazing. And you've got two books out, which is Be Strong Enough, which was the first one you published, and your most recent release, which is called Still Crazy.
Yes.
I love the title.
Yeah. I love the title too.
Do.
Yeah.
But
I was
do you know what?
inspired by Patsy Cline, her song Crazy.
Oh, wow.
So that's where the inspiration came from it. And actually, my literary agent said, I know the name of this book, Still Crazy. And then she started singing it, but sang it with the Still Crazy in the song. So, yeah. So
I love
credit for that one. Yep.
I think it's brilliant. And do you know what? I mean, I haven't managed to finish your book, but I've read a lot of it. And it really fits because I think for everybody who doesn't know, Be Crazy is about this woman. She's just an average woman. It could be any one of us, really. And she finds, and she discovers, something that happens in her relationship. I'm not going to do any spoilers. Something happens in her relationship, what she thought was a perfect relationship, and what do you do? And I mean, just the thought of something happening to your marriage is enough to drive you crazy. So the title is just perfect. Oh, Autumn's just joined us. She says, hi, Judy.
Hi, Autumn. Thank you for joining us today.
My partner in crime, I have to say. And do you know what? I've got to tell you, she brought round the most beautiful bunch of flowers for me today.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it was lovely. That's what besties are for. Besties are for. But Judy, I'd like to go back to the beginning because I do know for a fact that you're a bit of a bookaholic. You're a bit saying you're a bookworm is putting it mildly, isn't it? So when did you really start having a passion for books? Was there a particular book that just got you hooked on reading?
To tell you the truth, I always, I think I even say it in my bio. I was never without a book. I'm either reading under a shade tree, in my closet with the flashlight. I'm never without a book. My backlist of not backlist, rather my to be read pile is just so high on the floor. So always had a book. And somehow I think I always had a story in there too. God's honest truth. I'm in the 7th grade, and a teacher says to me, "Come here, young lady." She said, "You tell a lot of stories out there on the playground." She goes, "I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to write a story over Christmas break." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I walked out of the 7th grade, Christmas break, walked back in. I handed it to her. God's honest truth, Shaker Junior High School. Teacher comes up to me a week later with the drama teacher and said, "We want to take your Christmas story and make it next year's play."
Wow.
I actually got to help direct the story, the Christmas story. I called them and said to them, "Can I get a copy of it?" And they're like, "Judy, what year were you in the 7th grade?" They're like, "Don't you think they're all dead?" I'm like, "Well, that's not even nice, let alone funny." I'm like, "You must have records of it. You perform the plays. You got to have a record of it." She goes, "I'll look into it." She never got back to me. And then to tell you the truth, when it came time for Still Crazy, I wanted to read a story, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And I mean, in the middle of the night, the story comes to you, and when it tugs at your heart, as much as this story tugged at my heart, I had to write it. I had no other choice, but I had to write it. So, and I am very glad that I did. I'm proud to say that I am the author of Still Crazy. So I own it. I own that story.
I think it's amazing. And do you know what? It's funny you said about, your story being converted into a play at school. I mean, wow. I mean, they obviously realized how talented you were right from the off. But as I was reading your book, I kept thinking it would make a fantastic movie or a theatre production. I mean, that was what pops into my head as I was reading it. So I really do hope that you do get it turned into a screenplay for either, the movie theatres or, for a play, because that would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Men give me the best reviews, or men give me just as, the reviews are just as good from men as they are from women. But a lot of the men say this needs to be a movie, or this is the Hallmark movie. And I'm thinking, okay, but in the first chapter, she has multiple orgasms. I don't know that Hallmark is going to want that one, but okay, all right. So
maybe reach out to the director who did Harry Met Sally.
yeah, this is true. Yeah, it's good, clean. I mean, they're married, so it's good, clean. So yeah. But the reviews have been absolutely wonderful. Like I said again, I am so proud to be the author of this book. And my backstory is just, I tell you, when you have a story tugging at your heart, that you have to write it. Don't wait for someone else to pick up the pen. You've got to write the story. It's your story. Write it. So if I can encourage one person. Yeah.
That is such good advice, Judy, because, Autumn and I have said this to a lot of authors that, within our Write Better, Author Smarter group, or people that we try and help. At the end of the day, some stories are out there. Some situations have already been written about, but they've not been written by you, in your words, in your style, with your personality shining through the pages. You can literally have, a situation or a theme, but nobody's going to do it like you. Right. Because we are as individual as our books.
Yeah. And, the story may have been told, but not with this twist, not with this ending. So, they're all different. But a lot of women, it's funny because I was recently interviewed on NPR, and he said to me, "Damn it, you wrote my story." And he was a guy. Wow. And he was like, I could not put it down. I started reading it that morning, and I don't even think I ate, he said. I read the entire book, so I knew I had to get you on. So, but so it doesn't just happen to women. It also happens to men. So, yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, you write it with such reality. People are going to connect with it because they're either going to have been in that situation or known somebody who's been in that situation.
Right.
So I think so many people can connect with it on so many different levels. It's just absolutely fantastic. We've got a load more people saying hello, so I'm going to pop them up so they get a chance to say hello. Marcy, who's another author, she's just joined us. She says hello, Judy and Beth.
Hello, Marcy.
We've also got Jessica. She's joined us. She says hi, Judy.
Hello, Jessica.
And we've got, let's have a look. My button's not working properly. There we go. We've got Heather. She says, hi, Beth and Judy from Gemma and I. They're both watching. To Gemma. She is the cutest little thing ever. She really is. Josephine, another author's just joined us. She says, hello, Judy and Beth. Great to see you both. And you're honoured. You're honoured, Judy, because she's in the UK and it's very late where she is. I'm very, she must have been on the coffee. Marcy says the story knows what it wants to be. If it's calling you, write it.
Amen. Yeah.
Exactly. And Jessica says, you said a teacher inspired you to write in 7th grade. What inspired you to write Still Crazy? Oh, good question. So what was your inspiration? What sparked it all off for Just Crazy, or Still Crazy? Sorry.
Aside from the many women that I know that walked in Julie Holiday's shoes, what I wanted to know is not the answer to why do men cheat on near perfect women, but why do these women stay with men who cannot remain faithful? And I'll tell you, I could not find the answer. So I did my research, and here you have it. So yeah, the answer will surprise you. It'll definitely
Yeah.
surprise you as to why these women. Um, all of the women in my stories are strong women. I say for Still Crazy, Julie Holiday was a passionate, strong, loving wife who discovered a handwritten note that had the power to either destroy her or make her stronger yet. Um, Her battle is it's a heavy one. She faces a lot of drama, but in the end, she conquers. So
I think it's amazing, isn't it? We women are really like tigers, aren't we? We really are like tigers because we are the protectors, the emotional providers, more and more financial providers, and we wear all these different hats and we juggle all these different roles, and we do take on a lot more than most men because especially women who like us who we work, but we're still having to look after the home and look after the children, make the medical appointments and everything else. I think from my experience and from what I've seen with the couples that have been in and out of my life, a lot of people forget to keep flirting with their partners. I think that's a key thing for just from what I've observed. You get too comfortable and forget that everyone still needs to feel needed and wanted. And flirting with your partner is a huge part of that. Even if it's a little, wink, cheeky little text, a little grab on the butt or whatever. Everybody needs to feel like they're still desired and wanted and not just there. You've got to, and sometimes it takes us doing the first move. I'm, well, you can tell I'm very outgoing and friendly and everything else. But if I want a bit of attention, I'll start it. Cheeky little text message or, hello.
Yeah.
But, it means that, my husband still feels desired, wanted, and loved. And, he knows that I still want that in our relationship. And that's after 30 years. We've had 4 kids. But it's important not to let life take over, isn't it? And still be a couple and everything else. So your book, I think, is going to open a lot of eyes and make a lot of people think and maybe think, oh, okay, maybe I need to change things up a little bit. Try not to be in that situation. You just never know. You just never know. Anna's just joined us. She says, hi. Hello, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
I'm loving the new profile picture, Anna. Anna's a regular viewer, and your hair looks gorgeous in that photograph. I'm very jealous. Jane says, coffee, LOL. I'm not sure whether she's actually admitting she's been on the coffee. And James has just joined us. He says, hello, ladies. Sorry, I'm late. You are fine. We are just glad to see you, darling. Josephine says, I agree with all of that. It is too easy to sit around and go stale. Absolutely. It is absolutely. So I mean, how difficult was it to write Still Crazy? Because obviously, there is so much emotion on both sides. There's so many dynamics here. Did it take a great deal of planning, or was it just all up here and here and you just wrote?
I will say that when I'm writing, time stops and then I just let the words flow. I just let it go. But I wrote Still Crazy, no title, took it to the Unicorn for Writers conference down in Purchase, New York. And that's where I met my literary agent, Jan Cardis, who has Black Hawk Literary Agency. I handed her the manuscript that Saturday. The next day was Sunday, Easter Sunday. She called me Monday morning and she said to me, you bitch. I was up the entire night reading this manuscript. I want you to come and see me next week. So I'm like, okay. She hated it. She's going to tear it apart. She's going to rip it, into shreds. And, why did I write such a horrible story? So I agreed. I went there on Saturday, went to Jan's house, and her partner, Barbara Elsucino, flew up from Miami, took me to lunch, said, "We have some news for you. We're not sure if you're going to agree to this or not." So I'm like, oh my God, what do they want to do to this story? We went back to Jan's after lunch. Jan had the contract on the table. I saw it, and I said, oh my God, I have a literary agent. Jan said one thing. I want you to rewrite the entire story from third person to first person. And I said, okay, why? And she said, because I want to feel and read and see your emotion. And the only way to do that is for you to write it in first person. I want you to become Julie Holiday. Um, okay, I took the challenge. I took the 1 year to write it. She also gave me a whole list of homework to do. And I'm more than happy to share that with the other writers as to what she told me to do before she would even send the manuscript out to editors. And then speaking of editors, as I had said to Beth earlier, in the back of my acknowledgement section, I actually say to all the wonderful editors who took the time to read Black Hawk Letter Agency's submission of Still Crazy, I thank you for your time, consideration, encouragement, and kind words. I get goosebumps every time I think of them. Every single no I received was filled with encouragement. I'm applauding you from the sidelines. I want to see this turned into a book. I regret that I have to turn it down at this time. And I'm like, well, why are they turning it down? They loved it. Why are they turning it down? Well, all of a sudden, Jane Bly comes out with a story, which is, similar in title, or she too has a bakery. So they're going to take the big seller over the, a bakery or the storyline or, the inn, whatever it is. And that's why we get turned down. We don't get turned down because they don't not love our stories. We get turned down because we're not that big name. And they're always going to go with the big name first. So believe me, if you have a story in your heart, as I did with this one, take the time to write it. Damn it, write it. You cannot edit a blank page. How many times have we all heard that? Write your story and believe in your story and never, ever stop promoting that story. And that's something that I learned from Jan Cardis with 35 years experience. So, yeah.
Do you know, I'm really glad you shared that, Judy. I really am, because, that this is why I've been so thrilled to have Mark Gottlieb coming on the Witty Writers Show, and giving us so much knowledge, because, people don't realize how, a lot of people don't realize how the book world works. And we did mention this during our last show with Mark. There are things that are upcoming and new releases and things that are pre-planned well in advance,
right,
that we have no idea about. And you're right, because those upcoming things that we have no knowledge of will affect what the publishers and everybody else is actually looking for. Because you're correct, if they've got something similar coming up in the next year or 2 years, they're not going to want anything that we're doing that's the same, because that's going to take the limelight away from what they've already got planned, or what, as you said, that big well-known author is going to be releasing. And it's nothing personal. It is just business, because at the end of the day,
exactly what it is. It boils down to business. Yep.
It really is. It's like any other business. If you've got, for example, say Target, for example, if they've got, a new design range coming out that's, been designed by the Kardashians, for example, and they know they've got that selling reach, they're not going to go for a lesser designer that's similar. They're not, because they know they're not going to sell as many. It is just, it's a business like anything else. And that's what Autumn and I have tried to explain to a lot of our new writers. You have to think about it as a business, because that's what it is. And it's all about sales and marketing, and whether there is whether you can promote that author as a brand and promote their books that are likely to get taken up by, with film rights and everything else. It's all about potential sales, isn't it?
That's why I kept my literary agents, because I have both Jan and Barbara. Barbara is more of like the book doctor. She's like my inside editor. She'll read it and say, Jan will want more emotion, et cetera, et cetera. So I work hand in hand with Barbara and the team, but I'm not letting go of my team. And you say, but you're published. Why do you need a literary agent? Well, you just said it, for movie rights, book rights. Will an editor come knocking? Maybe for book number 2, when they look at my numbers. You say numbers, and I say, let me tell you a secret. The person who wrote this story, let me get it in there.
It's
She
beautiful.
wrote it with a fistful of ambition and a GED in the other hand.
Yeah.
But she believed in the story. And I'm just, again, I can't say how proud I am of it. I looked at my numbers today. Every week, I purposely look at the numbers. And I am not bragging. I am proud to say, again, I don't tear up. Over 19,000 people have requested Still Crazy on Goodreads.
Wow, that is amazing.
It's like, and it's only 4 or 5 months old. So it's growing. Will an editor, and I say this for encouragement for others, for writers saying, but I have a book, and editors won't pick it up. Give it time. They may not pick up your first one, your second one, your third one, but maybe on the 4th one, they will pick it up because they see your numbers and they see that you did not give up, because 90% of the self-published writers, they write the first book and then they say, this was hard. You bet your ass this was hard. I mean, if you want to share what Jan has me do, prior to even putting the book out there, it's a lot of work. The month before the book came out, 3 a.m. I'm up checking emails, doing what I have to do, because I know once I get into that studio from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., I am doing nothing but advertising, marketing. The strategy just has to keep flowing. You've got to keep that book out there, keep it alive. Doing interviews like this. It's 4 months old. Right now I'm still promoting Still Crazy, editing book number 2, and I'm plotting book number 3. So it never ends. But you know what? When I walk in that door, I absolutely love it. So I mean, it's a life that I wish I started. I wish I got the writing bug earlier, but it is what it is. So.
I think everything happens for a reason. I honestly do. And I think maybe if you'd done it earlier, you might have not connected with your fantastic team the way you have done. And I do believe that, not so much destiny, but I think there is timing to everything. I honestly believe that. But I think it's fantastic how much you've accomplished and succeeded. And you are so right, Judy, because Autumn and I have discussed this multiple times. The difference between successful writers and people who aren't successful is basically the people who don't give up. They do what is needed to be successful, whether that be, hours upon hours of promoting and marketing. I mean, I do 19-hour days regularly, get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to bed at 2 in the morning because I do so much. I'm doing the show. I'm, writing my next books. I've just finished a series of 5 and a 3-book series for kids, and I'm on the next one, and I'm querying, and I'm doing this. So you're right. You're literally non-stop.
Yeah.
But that's the difference. You've got to keep pushing forward. And one of my favorite TV programs that I've watched, and you might have watched this because you're a very inspirational person, is called The Secret. Have you watched The Secret?
No, The Secret.
It's fascinating. It's all about, being positive and putting positivity out there and, believing that you can succeed. Right. Which is all very well and good. However, you have to create the opportunities to make that success happen. As you know, you have to put yourself out there, create the circumstances, as you said, doing things like the show, with the Witty Writer Show and other interviews. You have to create those opportunities to be discovered, to be introduced.
You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, they're not going to believe in you. So anytime anyone, says to you, what is your story about? I mean, if you don't believe the words that you're putting out there, they're not going to believe it either. So it's really important. That you give it 100%.
Absolutely. Autumn's just popped a comment. She says, LOL, my editor's most frequent comment is more emotion. So now I double down on that. That is so true. But give us, give us a few of your suggestions that you were given on your Post-its.
Oh, on my Post-it for emotion.
Yes.
For emotion, I would say to any writer, close your eyes, don't write. Close your eyes, put yourself in that person's, situation, and then tell it through, showing. She grabbed a tissue, but she should have grabbed four. The tears were just nonstop, and she had no idea why those tears were just flowing. It's just her heart ached, but why the hell was she crying? Show, don't tell is a big part of with the emotions. And when somebody grabs, when I say she should have grabbed 3 or 4 tissues, the waterworks are flowing. So that's what's most important. Let me just tell you, I start with a strategy with every story. So the strategy coming up is the Inn in Rhode Island, and I give it a release date. And I say the book number 2 is coming out March 29, 2022. Okay. So now what do I have to do now in order to get ready for that? Well, you got to create the book tour. Schedule your book tour now for next March. Then I say, okay, I need my mail campaign. Part of my mail campaign is everyone who I sent, a copy of the book number 1 to on Goodreads, on BookBub, Library Thing, NetGalley, my library events that I do. They're all going to be added to my, newsletter list, and they're going to get a postcard or something saying that book number 2 is coming out. So that's part of the strategy. Then you have your strategy.
So you're already teeing up your test readers and your beta readers well in advance to get them excited, build up that anticipation, get them talking about it. Because the thing is, as that's a really good strategy, and I've mentioned this when I've been talking with Mark as well. Because we do our own marketing, we have to work like the big publishers. We have to plan in advance, sometimes months in advance, what we're going to do next. Yeah. So that is a really good tip. Yeah.
My literary agent said, don't think that even if I get you a publisher, that their marketing team is going to do all of this for you. You still need to do it yourself. Yeah. Even with the advertising, you got to advertise. If you're not advertising your book, well, who's going to, your mother, your sister, your brother? I mean, you're going to run out of them eventually. So you have to advertise. I advertise on Amazon, Facebook, Google AdWords, and NetGalley, and I target libraries when I advertise. And then reviews. You got to ask for those reviews. Don't be afraid to ask for the reviews. I go after Book Life, Midwest Magazine, Book Tribe, Online Book Club, Reader's Favorite, and First Chapter is where I go after, and I would recommend anyone else going after the reviews. And they'll post them, and they'll not only put them on Goodreads, but they'll put them on Amazon. And then the big thing is, and this is the lesson I learned with book 1, and even though it's doing phenomenal in my eyes, I did not do pre-orders. And I wish I did. So starting in October, I'm going to start a pre-order campaign for the Inn in Rhode Island, which is this book number 2 in the series. And then the last thing you have to do is upload to, wherever your distributors are going to be, to upload the book. I do it in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audio. And then that also goes into the time frame of everything. Is when does the book have to be complete to get it out to beta readers? I also made the mistake of getting it out to my beta readers thinking they're going to give me advice. So they're going to say, I skipped chapter 3. No, they're not going to tell you jack shit. You know what they're going to do? They're going to write it in the review that you had a flaw in chapter 3, et cetera. So do not send out unless it's a perfect pitch copy to your beta readers. So
yes, agreed.
Number 2. So definitely pre-order campaign. Definitely make sure the book is spot on when you send it out. So even to your beta readers, even family and friends, they're going to be, I had one, I think it was my niece, and she gave me a 4-star. I said, why'd you give me 4 stars? I'm your godmother. Why didn't you give me 5 stars? She's like, well, I wanted it to look real. I'm like, 5 looks real to me. You never know, someone else, I think it was a cousin of mine, she said, not bad for a first time book. I actually received an advanced reader's copy. There were some mistakes in there, but it was her first try. I'm like, did you have to write that in the review? So no, don't do that. make sure it is ready to go before anyone picks it up. So,
Yeah.
and that's something that an editor and a publisher would do. Although I'm reading one now and it's with a huge publisher and I found like 5 mistakes in it. So,
Yeah. Do you know what? I think anybody who has to reread a book over and over and over and over and over again is going to miss something, which is why it's super important, as you said, to make sure that, it's checked by numerous people in your team before, trusted people, so they can tell you before you put it out anywhere. But just for our new authors who are still learning the ropes, obviously this is something but because we're talking about pre-orders and everything, it's related. The way it works is that it's only the big publishers, the big publishing companies, who are allowed to do pre-orders on paperbacks and hard copies. Unfortunately, when you're self-publishing, like myself, you can only do a pre-order on the ebook only. It's just what it is. However, you can actually upload it way earlier to Goodreads and show that it's on pre-order way earlier. The time frame is much longer with Goodreads, which is fantastic, especially because they do promotional events as well. So you can literally do like a $100 100 book giveaway or whatever. I think they're doing a special promotion at the moment, but I think it's fantastic that you are so active on Goodreads, and I try and encourage as many people who are writing to be more active on Goodreads, because that's where all the readers are. That's where all the readers are. It's like social media for readers, and I'm like, why aren't you doing it? You can blog on, you can literally just copy and paste your blog posts onto Goodreads. You can connect it with, because it's owned by Amazon now, as you know, Judy, you can connect your RSS feed to your Amazon author profile. So anytime I want to, like today, beginning of the week, I did a blog post all about me interviewing you. I did the blog post and shared it on Goodreads, and it literally showed up on my Amazon author profile. So all of the people that are following my author profile will see that I'm interviewing you today.
Nice. Link everything. Link everything. When I do my blog, it goes to Facebook, it goes to my website, it goes to Goodreads. My blog goes to my Amazon account. It goes everywhere. Every time you say something, make sure you're saying it to all of your audiences. What they do tell you to do is don't upload the same exact post. My book is about XYZ. And say the same thing on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, etc. You want to have different posts out there. You can put the same post out there, but say it in a different way, maybe with a different photo, etc. Don't just write one post for the day and send it out all over the place. But yes, link your sites together. That's so important.
See, I must admit, I do that. What you just said, don't do, I do. However, I do share the same information, but with mine, there's very few people that follow me everywhere. They're people, I found my readers tend to all like different, the different social media sites. However, what I have noticed is to make sure that each platform works the best, you do have to sometimes change up or change the hashtags that you use, because there are popular hashtags on TikTok that aren't used on Instagram, and there's some hashtags that are used on Instagram that aren't used on Facebook. So it takes a little bit longer, but it means that more people are seeing my posts. So it's all about working smarter.
I think the age category has a lot to do with it too. The TikTok audience is definitely not going to be, the 55 and up, category. Instagram is probably 20 to 30 something. But Facebook, the old timers like me, they're still on Facebook. They're still following. They're still loving it. They're still, they're learning how to share, your comments. The other thing I do on Facebook that I would highly recommend is giveaways. I host a giveaway probably every single week on Facebook.
Yeah, I love giveaways.
you've got to give them something for following you. Don't just say, follow me, buy my book, buy my book. Oh, by the way, did you buy my book? You know, that's spammy. You can't do that. So I reward them. I actually have, she's editing the book at the moment. And she's like, my God, you have a lot of giveaways. She goes, I just can't keep up with the giveaways. Why do you do so many giveaways? You don't have to do giveaways. Either they read your book or they don't. And I said, no, the giveaway is rewarding them for reading the book.
Well, and sharing your posts and sharing your information. I'm with you on that. I really, really am. You know, I'm always saying thank you to you know, people. If they share, I do a personal thank you so much, because, you know, I, like you, it's nice to show how much you appreciate it, because support is everything, isn't it? You know, you've got supportive readers, supportive authors that you come into contact with, and, you know, your family, your friends. Having that support means everything. If you haven't got that, then it's such a lonely journey. So I did the same thing. You know, I did a new book trailer, and I did a giveaway attached to that book trailer, so anybody who shared it gets a chance to win the silver necklace, because I want to say thank you. I want to, as you said, reward people for reading, for sharing, for taking part in our journeys. Yeah. It does mean a massive thing. And I'm so glad you mentioned about your blog, because I wanted to talk to you about your blog. It is awesome. I've literally, just so everybody knows, Judy's links are all attached to this interview video for you to literally one click, and you can go to Judy's website, you can go to Judy's Amazon author page and buy her books. Everything is there. Go to her website and have a look at her blog posts, because they are awesome. And you've recently just, the one I liked was self-published women. I really enjoyed that article. There's so many great articles, great blog posts. Please go and read them and share them. They're absolutely brilliant. Because you are very much like myself and Autumn. You try and share your knowledge, share your experience, hoping to make things a little bit easier for other authors. And I think that's wonderful, Judy. You're so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
It's awesome. But I also want to mention your first book as well, because that is a very inspirational book. That is Be Strong Enough.
This little guy right here. It's called Be Strong Enough.
Look at that.
The cover, the cover. I wish that I actually kept the cover for another book, but you know, Be Strong Enough it's short on words, but it's what I hope to be is full of inspiration. You know, on some pages it could be just one single line, and I can't read through the screen, but you know, it could just be one line. You know, I have to share a quick little story. She's 17 years old. She has debilitating headaches. She just, you know, always in the dark, cannot do anything. And just, you know, I saw her mother just praying on Facebook and just asking for prayer, etc. So I sent her a copy of the book with a goodie box, you know, things that I thought a 17-year-old would like, you know, from magazines to writing, whatever. And her mother just sent a message and said, oh my God, she's never done this in her life. But she literally like put little stickies on every other page, just highlighting things that she related to. You know, that's what I'm hoping, you know, with all of my writing, you know, if the women out there or the men out there, you know, if they pick up Still Crazy and they say, you know what, she's right. It doesn't matter what someone else does. Believe in yourself, live your best life at any age. And that's the message in all my books. Even the upcoming book that's, you know, The Inn in Rhode Island, it's about a young girl that I make sure they believe in themselves. You know, she faces something horrible that I think, you know, women should not face, you know, worse than Still Crazy. But she stands up strong, and that's very important to me. So it's just, you know, putting yourself out there, believing in yourself, and just sharing with, you know, other people, like-minded people like you, Beth.
I know, right? Do you know what? We, as ladies, have to have each other's backs, and men as well. You know, I do you know, it's so interesting, this conversation, Judy, because I was actually brought to tears last night. I have to tell you, literally, I was blubbering like a baby. Terza, who's one of my friends. She's another author. She's got a fantastic group, and she's got.
You'll come back.
I got kicked off my own show. How the heck does that happen? No, I didn't touch nothing.
Did you hear me? I'm like, you'll come back. That was good. That's what I did, because I tapped on the desk. I'm like, oh my God, I got rid of her. Nice way to end the show. Yeah.
I literally have no clue what happened there, but yeah. So anyway, cut a long story short, Terza and Laura run Terza's group, and they every week now they post 2 photographs, and you can write a little 2 or 3 paragraphs, super short little story, picking whichever photograph you want. Mm-hmm. So I looked at these 2 images this week, and I just was drawn to this photograph of a man. Anybody can see it on my Facebook page because I shared it. I felt like I needed to write a poem. So I wrote a poem because he was sat in front of a bridge, and he looked so lost and depressed and in so much despair. Oh, my heart was just breaking, just seeing this man sat there. Yeah. So that's what I wrote. I wrote about, the pretty much the double standard that men are being told, you got to be a man, you got to man up, and they're not allowed to show their emotions or express their feelings. And then and this poem is all like that. And then right at the end, it's like, man down, I'm done, I'm at the limit, sort of thing. But somebody commented on the post and said, it's like you literally read my mind. This is me. This is how I feel. I have felt this despair for years. And I'm reading this person's comment, and I was sobbing. When you want to reach to them and give them a hug and go, I've got you. You're not alone. Oh, I felt so emotional last night, and I messaged back and I said, I hope you find somebody that you trust, that you can be vulnerable to, and just express yourself, and know that you're not going to get judged, because we all need somebody like that in our lives. Mm-hmm. And I just said, we humans are like kettles, because we're like a kettle on the stove filled with water, and through life, every now and again, you have to let off a little bit of steam and let out your feelings. Because if you don't, if everything's kept inside and you don't get to communicate, as you said, and talk about our feelings and share them, eventually you're either the kettle's going to explode, or it's just going to completely run dry to nothing. Either way, it's a bad situation. So I love the fact that you are bringing books out that are so inspirational, and they tell such an emotional story, but they give hope. And there is life after this.
They're hard truths, but hopefully inspiring to people to say, it's not easy. It's not an easy journey, but if you believe in yourself, you're going to muddle through. You will pull through it. Yeah.
I agree, absolutely. And I think, what doesn't break us makes us stronger. Bad stuff happens, but if we learn from the bad stuff and turn it into a positive learning experience, I think that makes us a lot healthier, emotionally. Let's have a look. James says Judy was going to have to take over. Oh, she's gonna have to take over. Do you know what? She's so inspirational and amazing, James. She could have done, and she wouldn't have missed a beat.
I'm like, she'll come back. Beth, get your ass back on here. Yeah.
I know. I was on it. I was there straight away. Francisco's just joined us. He says, hi, ladies. Best wishes. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Now, believe it or not, we are literally 3/4 of an hour, and it's gone so quick. So anybody who has any questions for Judy and you want her to answer them right now live, please pop them in the comments so we can get them on there quick. Is there anything, Judy, that you think, with hindsight, obviously we learn so much every single year. We don't stop learning. Is there anything you can think of that you wish you'd have known earlier in your writing journey?
That COVID had nothing to do with my putting on 30 pounds. I just, I'd love to blame this on COVID, but no. The bad me did a wrong thing. It's 96 feet from my house to the writing studio, and I am blessed to have a writing studio in front of my husband's garage. So those 96 feet weren't enough. So literally, I look back at the past 18 months and I say, wow, it just came, because I didn't take care of myself. So I wish I had the hindsight to say the advertising, the marketing, the book promotions, all of that can wait until after you take care of yourself.
Yes.
So now, knock on wood, thank God, the light bulb went off. I looked in the mirror. Actually, I started doing all these YouTube videos and, the streaming with library events and stuff, and said, oh my God, who is this person? So now, first thing I do is I get up in the morning, I eat an apple, which gives me the energy. And then I go downstairs and I hit the gym. So there was no excuses. I have a home gym. There's no excuse for me not to work out. So, and even if I don't feel like working out, maybe my back hurts, my neck hurts, whatever, I at least do yoga, do something.
Loosen up.
So, so I wish I had the hindsight to say, the book's going to be okay. Don't forget to take care of yourself. That's probably. And the other thing that I am so grateful for is, being able to do everything through Zoom, through, StreamYard, doing these events this way, the money that we're saving because we're not traveling, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, I think it's wonderful. The people like you, open your doors to newbies like us. Bless your heart. Seriously, bless your heart.
Do you know what?
Mark Gottlieb in? Oh God, that's a powerhouse. Anybody tuning in? When is Mark on again? On the 23rd?
Oh my gosh, yeah, super excited because he is coming back on. Let's have a look.
I think it's the 23rd. I put it in my calendar too.
Yeah, so
to Mark.
Yeah, he's coming on the 23rd, Monday the 23rd. Next week, we've got Stephen Manchester, who's coming on. He's another fantastic author. And next Thursday, the Thursday after, on the 26th, we've got Glenn Dahlgren with his new book release. So I'm super excited. It's all happening. But do you know what? I'm so glad you talked about, taking care of yourself and everything, because I think so many of us are all in the same boat. I've had to be on medical steroids because of a reaction to the heat. Well, I think it's to the heat or bugs, or I don't know. So I've put on steroid weight as well. I don't know whether anybody remembers the Weebles as a child. The little round
wobble. Yeah, but don't fall down.
That's me right now, Judy.
Yeah.
I'm not eating anymore, but this steroid weight is just
crazy.
Honestly, the only downside the plus side is that I don't have to wear a bra all the time, thank the Lord, because they're the most uncomfortable things ever. So that's been a bit of a bonus. But I do have to say, in a way, the lockdowns and the pandemic, I think, has actually been a bit of an education for a lot of authors that I've worked with, because they've been forced to learn new skills. They've been forced to learn the technology. They've been forced to really get to know the social media aspect of it, learn how to navigate it, how to promote themselves. And I think that's been a positive thing because, as you said, when you're doing a book signing, you're going to one place and you're seeing a certain amount of people. When you do events and things online, the reach is phenomenal. And as you saw today and yesterday, the Witty Writers Show is now reaching over 64,000 people.
And we're celebrating when we get to 70,000, right?
We're having a party. Yes, when we reach 70,000, we're having a party. And that's increased by over 26,000 people in the last 90 days.
Phenomenal.
Because people want to be entertained. They want knowledge. They want to be inspired. They want to have fun. They want to have a giggle. And I love doing it live because anything goes. I can, I don't have to bleep.
They want to be a part of something positive, something
Yes.
growing. And that's what you're offering. You're offering to just, even if it's, the person who's never picked up the pen to watch your show, you're inspiring them to maybe pick up a book.
Yeah, because as you said, it's never too late. You're never too young. I know children who are self-published. I know people in their 90s who are published. If you've got a story, there is somebody out there that wants to read it. And I love sharing time with beautiful people like yourself who are just as inspiring and helpful to others. It's just fantastic. I'm going to quickly have a look because we've got a comment for you from a lady called Karen, and I want to get in there quick. She says, how many hours do you spend writing? Oh, that's a good one.
Between 6 and actually I'd have to say between 5 and 7 hours is what I spend writing.
And that's
start at 7 in the morning till about 3 in the afternoon. But of course I break for lunch, things like that. So got to get my cup of tea. But it's a good 5-6 hours of just steady writing, doing nothing else. And usually about 3 o'clock in the afternoon is when I stop and answer emails or, do social media. I love Canva because I can preset my social media. So it already goes out there for the month. So I'd have to say 5 to 7 hours a day. I write every single day.
But you're my kind of author because you do pre-plan and you don't. I was talking about this with Autumn and we were both agreeing. You can either work smarter or harder, and you do it smart. You pre-plan. You use apps and services that make your work the most productive it can be.
So much easier. Yeah.
Exactly. But I just want to say as well on that note with regards to writing, because obviously there are so many writers who all have different circumstances. Being able to write full-time every day is every author's dream. But for the authors who are juggling one job, 2 jobs, a family, and all these other things, even if you can sit down and write for half an hour a day, that is still progress. That is still good. You basically, I think you would agree, Judy, don't you? It's whatever you can manage comfortably without burning you out.
If you write one piece of paper, an 8 by 11 piece of paper, and if you say, but I have children, I'm not as blessed as you are to have a writing studio. I'm not 60 something years old. I'm 32 with 4 children or 1 child or an infant, whatever. You know what I would say? If you have a story and it's tugging at your heart, and this is probably tough love, but you know what? I tell you, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go in your bedroom closet, turn on the flashlight and write 1 page every single day. Do you know in 90 days, you will have a full entire manuscript written? And exactly. Don't worry about drafting it. You can't edit a blank page. Just sit your ass down and write every single day. Make it a habit. And when you do make it a habit, guess what? The words flow. It appears on paper, and it just continues on and on. So, I mean,
I agree with you so much. Yeah. In fact, funny story. When I wrote book 1, Earth's Angels, the majority of Earth's Angels was written while sat in my car waiting for my daughter to come out from school, and I wrote it on my iPhone. Wow. In the notes section. I did 1 note, chapter 1, 2nd note, chapter 2, and I was sat in my car doing that. Writing. Yeah. And then I would, when I had charts, I would put it all onto my computer. But I was sat in the car for an hour waiting for my daughter to come out of school, and I'm like, I could be doing something right now. Okay, I'll get on with my writing. And that's what I did. Because
you can Google Docs, you can do it from your phone, and it's right there everywhere you go. So there's no excuses. If you want to write, write.
Exactly. Jessica's got a question for you. She says, how far along are you with the 2nd book?
Ooh, 2nd book is completed. It's written. It is now in the hands of 2 editors. It's also in the hand of 1 judge and 1 nurse. And the reason why is because, it's part of the research. I have to make sure that I'm getting those chapters correct. Otherwise, my literary agent slaps me on the hand and says, my name's on this, et cetera, et cetera. So, so right now I actually have 4 people who are crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And then I'll take it back to Barbara, who is the book doctor for the literary agent team. And then the last person to put her eyes on it is Jan Cardis, who is the literary agent. And if I don't make her cry in the first paragraph, I'm done. I'm done. Within the first chapter. If I don't make Jan cry, she's the emotional one. She that's what she looks for. She looks for the emotion. She wants to feel every bit of the story. So in fact, Jan says, if your story doesn't make someone laugh out loud, cry, or run to the internet, it's no good.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
true.
you know what, that is true, because you're inspiring.
Reader,
you're inspiring the strongest emotions. So that's such a good advice. That really, really is. That's amazing. Now, I would love to talk to you for ages and ages. Unfortunately, we can't. But I have good news, everybody, because Judy is going to do a giveaway because she's so fabulous. So if you could hold up your fantastic book, which is still crazy. There we go. Beautiful. One of you lucky angels is going to win a signed copy of Still Crazy, direct from Judy. We can only do it US only, unfortunately, because especially with the pandemic, shipping and that is just awful right now abroad. Literally anything you want from outside of the country is not coming in, and vice versa. So it's US only. All you have to do to win this beautiful signed copy of Judy's book, Still Crazy, is share this interview. That's all you have to do. And you can share it via Facebook, or you can share it via my podcasts, or you can share it via any of my social media platforms, because I will see that you shared it. And all of those entries will get put into a draw, and we can announce the winner next Thursday. I'll announce it, and that way everybody's got a week to share. The more shares you do, the more entries you get. So you can share it. You can share it to book clubs or any groups that you're in, and I will see that you shared it, and that's another entry. Judy, thank you so much for being such an amazing guest. I would love to have you back when the next one comes out.
Ooh, okay, next March 2022.
Oh my gosh,
I would love to come back. You are such a pleasure. Every writer needs to get on your show. So really,
you make
the Witty Writer Show, just unbelievable. You are just a treasure for all of us.
Thank you so much, darling. Do you know what that means the world to me? Because I'm just paying it forward, and literally people like yourself need to be discovered, and more people need to find you, and that's what it's all about. It's about sharing talent and inspirational people like yourself. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. If you have got any questions that we haven't got to, put them in the comments, because Judy can see them, and when she gets a chance she can reply. So if you're not watching this live, don't worry, put your questions in the comments, we will get to you. And thank you everybody for joining in, and join us next Monday for the Witty Writer Show. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and all of you. Please keep safe, keep healthy, keep your masks on, and love each other. We will see you next time. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Bye, darling.